Anybody need this frequency for any kind of emergencies before we talk vintage radio? K5LYN. We get together here on Wednesday evenings and have for 10 or 20 years to talk about the early days of single sideband. This is K5LYN. My name's Len. I'm in Austin. And tonight I decided to go back to the very beginnings of single sideband. I'll talk about the rig here in just a minute. Buy-sell trades are appropriate if they're vintage radio related, and we appreciate anybody that's interested in what we're doing here. You don't have to be on a vintage radio, but I encourage people to look at the junk in your garage and see what you might be able to throw together, and join us with some things from the vacuum tube era. I'm on what was called the 10A by Wes Shum, W9DYV, back in 1951, when he saw all the homebrew circuits in the QST and CQ magazines and what the guys were trying to figure out how to make a single sideband transmitter for amateur radio. He put together this phasing exciter, which puts out about 7 watts. And I figured out how to use the output of a Drake R4 receiver to be the VFO for this very early phasing type exciter, and I'm transceiving in the manner of the later Model Twins that came along 15 years after that. The 7 watts are being amplified by what used to be a Night Kit novice rig, 50 watter. And that brings my power up to about 40 watts, and that's driving the Drake L4B. I'll take 7 to 8 people I got on the list of earlies here. We'll give it to Jay, and we'll probably have another net control besides Jay and I here in a minute. Anybody need to tell me anything before I talk some more? K5LYN. All right, N5JJI. Ed, did not hear you in there? Thought I did. Well, heck, how about KWOZ, Dan? Wow. Am I still on the air? Justin? AI5OS. You over there somewhere? K5LYN.
Hey, Lynn. This is AI5OS here on the Drake B-line, the R4B and the TX4B. Just wanted to say good evening. And as WB5TXW likes to say, this is the finest hour in amateur radio here. So the rig we're on is obviously the R4B and the TX4B. I'm driving it with a Shure 527 here, doing about 180 watts, going into an in-fed half-wave cut for 80 meters here. So really neat mixture of things here. Everybody's sounding absolutely fantabulous tonight. No issues at all here on the break. And, hey, always love this vintage gear. Looking forward to see what other kind of vintage gear we can play around with here. Love to find one of those Carl Conway SWR bridges that George has. I have a TW1 Tango Whiskey 1 watt meter made by LDG that I use to tune this thing, but I'd love to find another backup audible tuning aid, just to have in place. So kind of working around there, and hey, who knows? Hopefully here in a couple weeks, once the weather gets going as it should, might even get the hex beam up in the air here. So this is AI5OS.
Very nice work on that Drake station, Justin. Doing a nice job. Now, do you already own that Gonset amplifier you were talking about a while ago?
I do not. I'm kind of trying to figure out, really want to find out a couple of things. First off, if I get it, because the price is definitely reasonable. What am I going to look at? If it's blowing fuses, apparently there's no smell in it. What it might take to get that thing working as it should.
Well, I would recommend for the same power output, the Collins 30L1 is a lot more amplifier for your mother and for your money, and much more serviceable. So if you have any more thoughts about it, send me an email. Good to hear you, Justin. Anything else for the net this evening?
No, just everybody have a great, have a really good night. And 30L1. I wouldn't mind some Collins gear to play with. That would be fun. This is AI5OS.
Yeah, it'll match up with your Drakes a lot better. It fits the same size, lot to be said for it, and all new parts are available. Now, let me see. Didn't I have N5JJI a while ago, Ed? Well, I guess not. TXW, George.
Hello, Lynn, and all around the net from WB5TXW for the finest hour of amateur radio for the week. I am on the S-line, 32S1, 75S3, 30L1, the power supply, the speaker box, the Shure 444 microphone, Heatkit 2060 antenna tuner up, the 450 ohm twin lead to the 75 meter dipole, and that's it. Simple, basic, it works. Over.
It absolutely does, George. Anything else for the net this evening?
That's it. WB5TXW back to net.
Okay, let's see. I heard WY5T. Bill, I haven't talked to you in forever. You still hanging out over there? All right, Bill came and went. How about W5HTR? Fred, bring us up to date.
Okay. K5LYN and the net, W5HTR, Fred in Richardson, Texas. And, not much to offer tonight other than tell you what I'm talking on. Talking on my usual TR4 with a little help from FL2100B. The antenna is an inverted V, 40 and 80 meter antenna. With the apex about 30 some odd feet, and the mic is a Shure 444 Delta. That's pretty much the rig here. And I don't remember if I checked in last week or not, but if I didn't, Happy New Year to everybody. And looking forward to seeing everybody down at Belton in April. There's going to be a ham fest in the DFW area, just south of Fort Worth at Forest Hill, Saturday after next, or I guess the weekend after next, Friday and Saturday. So, looking forward to that. So back to you, Lynn. Doing a good job as usual. It's fun to check in. One of these days we'll meet eyeball to eyeball there. K5LYN and the net, W5HTR.
Fred, we're overdue for that eyeball QSO for sure. Let's do it this time for sure. All right, I want to talk to AG5XP. Kenneth, I want to say something to you. You are there, right?
Yeah, roger on that, Lynn. I'm standing by.
All right. Probably many of you have heard me say, hey, all of you have a bunch of old junk out in the garage that you need to get brought into the shack and figure out how you can put it together and make it talk. And sure enough, Kenneth did that. I didn't get to talk to him enough last week about it. So, Kenneth, tell us about that station a little bit. K5LYN, over to you.
Yeah, roger that, Lynn. Yeah, I got me an old Heatkit SB10, and I grabbed it onto a Johnson Viking one, which wasn't an easy beat, so I had to do a few modifications, as you would think. Had to put a link coil on the buffer coil so I get enough drive to drive the SB10, but I got it rigged up. Had to change the bias voltage in the Viking so I get some drive out of it. Get about 30, 40 watts out of it pretty easy the way I got it set. And got it hooked up to my Gonset GSB 201, and running about 450, 500 watts more or less. And got it all operating with the D104 mic. Got the old painless dial key relay and using that for my TR switch to turn my receiver on. Got my SX101 and using it for my receiver, and everything's working good, and hope it's sounding good there. Back to you, Lynn, AG5XP.
Oh, Kenneth, you always have it right. You're excellent when it comes to engineering these things. Now, the exciter that you're using for the SB10, I'm the only other guy that's got an SB10 on the air around here. Then you have to amplify the output of that signal generator or whatever to make it excite the SB10. How'd you do that?
I just got the signal generator just hooked into the VFO input of the Johnson. It only takes like 5 volts, but I've got it running about 2.5 volts feeding the Johnson. Then I'm using it's got 2 tubes with 2 tuning coils to adjust the crystal and adjust the buffer that drives the 4D32 tube, the output tube. But it was feeding the tube, so it was basically infinity impedance, so it didn't have any drive. So I just put a link coil around the buffer coil assembly so I can get me some drive out of it, and that's what I'm feeding the SB10 with, and it gives me enough to put out enough to make it operate.
Isn't it amazing? The SV10 was another primitive attempt at single sideband that still works here 55, 60 years later almost. Very nicely done, Kenneth. Anything else for the group this evening?
Oh, that's about it. But yeah, the little SB10, that little phase modulation gizmo, like I say, works pretty good. You can go upper sideband, lower sideband, or double sideband with no carrier, or you can just flip a little knob there and put whatever carrier you want into it. So that's pretty neat.
Oh, it's very cool. You know, I call the net often with mine. That's the one I call the radio equivalent of 59 Studebaker, because it's a bunch of junk I got out of the garage, as was the Studebaker. All right, Kenneth, anything else for the group this evening?
Oh, that's it. But so far, everybody's got great sounding rigs, and I appreciate the time and effort it takes to keep these things going. So congratulations on that, and they got some more junk. We'd like to hear it on the air. AG5 Big C, back to you, Lynn.
Okay, I'm going to talk to one more guy, and then we'll give this thing to Jay. And W5SSS. Joe, do I know you? I don't think so. If we've met before, come in and talk to us.
No, I don't think I've talked to anybody on here. Well, I have maybe one or two. But I've been around a long time, and I've got some old Collins gear I want to get rid of, and that's the reason I'm on the air tonight. I live down near Bandera, just outside of San Antonio. Over.
Well, tell us what you got, and prices are always the best way to sell it.
All right. I got a Collins S-Line that by CCA grading, it's excellent condition. I got a 32S3, 75S3, 30L1, 312B4, a 516F2, and a cabinet. It's excellent. I'm asking $2,500, but that is negotiable. Second thing I have is a set of the Gold Dust Twins, KWS1 and 75A4. I bought these from W3HM, Howard Mills, about 7 or 8 years ago. They're totally refurbished. I paid $7,000 for it, and I don't use it. It's just sitting, same with the S-Line. I don't use them. They're just sitting on the table, and I'm asking about $3,000, and that's negotiable for the Gold Dust Twins, and it is in excellent condition. I have these rigs pictured on my QRZip page, about halfway down. You can take a look at the pictures of those and see what I have here. And that's what I've got. Over.
Okay, the Gold Dust Twins. We don't hear those very often. Have you had them on the air?
Not in a while. It's been 4 or 5 years. I bought them about 7 years ago.
Yeah, I've got half of it. I've got the 75A4, but I never dreamed of the transmitter. Well, good luck with that. How are people going to get in touch with you?
Okay, I got my email address on QRZip, and I have a phone number of 210-827-5908. That's 210-827-5908. If anybody needs any information, I'm not going to be available tonight because it's already past my bedtime, but an email or a phone call will work anytime during the day. Over.
Okay, good to know. And you're not that far from a whole lot of us, so let's hope some people were listening that are interested in that station. Very nice of you to come by, Joe. Anything else for the net this evening?
That's all. I'm heading for bed. Thank you for letting me in. W5SSS.
All right. Very interesting. Hey, Jay, want to take this thing and run with it? How about it? K5LYN.
Oh, yes, sir. I reckon I could. Have you got some more names you could throw at me? I was in the middle of something a while ago. I didn't have a chance to make a list.
Yeah, I thought we had N5JJI, and I know we've got KC5L Tom, and we've got K5LT, and K7JAQ, and KE5Q Jim. I think that's it.
Okay, yeah, Jim, KE5Q, alrighty, I remember that. And, okay, We'll start from there and see what we can do. Excuse me. Dang it. Let me double back and see if Ed has come back. N5JJI. Ed, are you back?
Yeah, Jay. To quote Mr. Magoo, this is another fine mess I've gotten into. Okay, I'm a new microphone on my HW101 over the SB201 over to the Dentron Super Tuner, out the window with open wire line to an inverted V up about 45 feet, and it appears that everything is finally working now. So back to you, Jay, N5JJI.
Oh, okay, Ed. Yeah, you sounded fine now. I knew you were in there somewhere. Well, this evening, folks, as you can probably figure out, I'm not on my 820. It's been a long day. Anyway, I didn't have a chance to get it all smoothed out like it should be. So I'm on the 990, and such as it is, poor old Alpha amplifier. Now this Alpha is probably old enough to be a boat anchor. It's a 374A that was made back in the 70s, I believe, and sold to a guy that I got it from. But anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. KM5QS. Let's see. Dan, are you back? K8WOZ?
Oh, yeah. It never fails. It doesn't matter what net. But about time just before the net starts, somebody calls, and then I get all screwed up here. So I'm gonna leave my phone elsewhere every time we're listening to or gonna participate in the net. Anyway, yeah, this is Dan, KWZ, just talking on the same thing I usually do, a Kenwood 830 with all the attachments, the SP230, the SM220 scope that really works good, and the VFO 230 that keeps it pretty stable, and I got an AT200 tuner that I'm using between it and the Collins 30L1 amplifier. And that's about it. The antenna's inverted V, about 42 feet. Microphone's an MC50 Kenwood. And I do have a Drake MN2000 tuner in line, but it's in the bypass mode because I got right at 1-to-1 SWR at this frequency. That's it from here. Just working on an old Ten-Tec, what do they call that? 422 anyway, Ten-Tec amplifier with a pair of 3500s at it. That's my most recent project here. Back to you, Jay. Thanks for letting me sneak back in.
Okay, no problem. Man, all you need is the AT230, and your station would be that. What else do you need? I've got one, but I'm using it. So anyway, I use it as a match, tuned input match for my 922. But at any rate, good to hear you, Dan, and we'll catch up with you after a while. Let's see, who's next here? KC5L. Well, go ahead, Tom.
Hey, good evening, Jay, and everyone on the Boat Anchors Net. This is Tom, KC5L in San Antonio. And tonight, we're on the usual here. We're talking on the Central Electronics 200V with the D104 microphone, and it's driving the Central Electronics 600L amplifier. And that's going to a Johnson KW Matchbox. Homebrew doublet up about 15 feet, and we're listening on the R390A. And I do have the wants. I am looking for a Central Electronics MM2 multi-phase RF analyzer in excellent to mint condition. That's the Central Electronics Mic-2 multi-phase RF analyzer. And if you have one or know someone who has one for sale, other than what's on the well-known auction site, I'm good on QRZ. You can shoot me an email. And that's all I have this evening, Jay. So back to you, KC5L.
Okay, Tom. Good deal. Well, it sounds good as usual. It always does. But, folks, if I'm sure everybody could hear Tom, but just in case you had a static crash or something, Tom is looking for a piece of equipment for his Central Electronics. He's looking for the MM-2 analyzer that to help keep everything up to snuff. If you happen to have one laying around or know where he can find one, look Tom up on QRZ, KC5L, and y'all can work it out. I'm sure he'd appreciate that. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Jay.
All right. Next, I guess, would be the other K5 station there, K5LT, Lyle.
Good evening, Jay, and everybody else in the net. This is Lyle, K5LT, and I'm located northwest of Boerne, Texas, about 30 miles north of San Antonio, as a crow flies. And tonight I am on the usual on the Heathkit SB101, going through the Heathkit SB221 amplifier out to the double extended zip antenna running through the cedar trees. And got the radio working again just the other day. A couple weeks ago on the net, I went to key up and talk, and nothing happened, no output. So it happened before a couple of years ago. So I figured the tube had gone bad, and so swapped out the tube with the spare, and no luck. And I'm like, well, I'll start working on it. So started the troubleshooting and started with the microphone. I have a spare mic, and so disconnected the mic, put another mic on it, and lo and behold, we're back in business again. So dirty connection. So I think my next thing I'm going to do with the radio is take it out, blow it out, and then pull all the tubes out and get a can of deoxit and go to town on it, and then put it all back and see what happens again. So that's my story. You know what I'll be doing for the next couple of weeks is cleaning radio. So back to you, Jay, K5LT.
Okay. Well, good luck with it. That's what makes it fun. Getting this stuff, keeping it working, and playing with it. Or I say playing with it. Sometimes it don't seem like play, but at any rate, good deal. All right, KL7 Juliet Alpha Quebec, Roy.
Well, good evening, Jay and the group. Kilo 7 Juliet Alpha Quebec. Roy in North Dallas this evening. We're down here for a beautiful wintertime month from Montana. So, enjoying the 85-degree weather we had here in Dallas today, and we won't be seeing that in Montana until July or August. So it's almost like going back in a time machine, so to speak. Our station here is pretty limited. That's the only thing we have down here is the FT101E with the Shure 444Z, driving that into a KW Electronics Supermatch, KW107 Supermatch. These are made in Dartford, England, and they're kind of a Heathkit clone. They look pretty much like Heathkit. And that goes into our G5RV up about 35 feet. So that's the basic station here, running about peaking 85 or 90 watts. Have to make mention of both of the HW10s on here tonight. Boy, oh boy, do you have some nice audio. Sounding great here in Dallas. So that's about it. I do have a want. What I'm looking for is a couple of racks for the command set ARC-V transmitters. Transmitter racks for the ARC-V, not the receiver, but the transmitter. If you have anything like that, like you say out in the garage or down in the basement, my information is good on QRZ.com, and we might even be able to meet over at Fort Worth in a couple of weeks or down in Belton. So that's all from this station, 73 all, and I hope you have a great week. K7JAQ, Roy in Dallas.
Okay, Roy. I didn't quite. You're looking for some pieces for the ARC-V transmitter. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that's correct, Dave. We're looking for the transmitter racks, the racks that they slide into.
Oh, the racks. Okay, I got you. It's a little bit of, there's a little static crash. I don't know where that came from. I guess that front's moving through somewhere. Yeah, folks, Roy is looking for some the racks for the ARC-5 transmitter, that the ones they slide into. If you got one, you know what it is. K7 Juliet Alpha Quebec. And I guess your address good on QRZ or at least contact information where they can get hold of you, Roy?
Yes, it is. My email address is on there on the QRZ site.
Okay, that'd be the way to reach him, by email. Just look him up and let him know. Thank you, Roy. Hope you find something there. All right, Jim, in Plano, KE5Q. And you escaped Bolivia, so you're back, huh?
Yeah, let me turn this other radio down. Yeah, it's Colombia. KM5QS, KE5Q, Plano, Jim. And we're running a TS-830S complements of Byron WA5EDX, and that's going into the MLA 2500 amplifier into the 8040 Ultimax. And I just was going to comment, I did check in last Wednesday night from Bogota, and when Lynn turned it to, I thought it was going to be you, but he turned it to KM5QS, and somebody had taken over your station, and I had no idea who it was. They were IDing with your call sign and everything and calling the net, but it certainly wasn't you. I just thought I would remember the voice. The voice wasn't you, for sure. And I was going to say to Lyle, he was talking about he changed the microphone and it worked. He said he was going to take the tubes out and clean it and do all that. The last time I did that, the radio never worked again. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay, anyway, appreciate you guys calling the net. Let me know who that was that took over your call sign last week, if you have any idea. KM5QS, KE5Q.
Well, that's been 7 days ago. I mean, at this age, you're lucky if you can remember, although I do tend to have a better track record than our president on that respect. But, no, actually, I was afflicted with some, I guess it was cedar fever, and the sinus drainage does peculiar things to my vocal cords. It makes them think they belong to Barry White or somebody. I don't know. I don't understand it. And nothing I could do fixed it. So I just had to put up with it.
Roger. Well, Byron didn't check in last week, WA5EDX. I was talking to him on the phone today, and I said, listen to Matt's recording and see if you can hear KM5QS. See if you think that's Jay.
It must really. I should have listened to. I didn't get to listen to the recording this time. I should have done it because hearing myself would be completely different from. Well, anyway, but I'm not completely recovered yet. But I'm getting it back somewhat. I think. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, thank you, Jim. And okay, not Bolivia, Colombia. All right, I'll get it right. I don't know which is worse.
Just as bad as each other.
Okay, I don't have any more listed, so we'll see who's out there. Who wants to check in? Come now.
K5 Sierra Alpha Charlie. K0SED.
350ZZ.
KC5W11.
Okay, let me catch these four, and we'll go from there. SAC, Norman, go ahead.
Oh, good evening, Lynn. Good evening, Jay, KM5QS and the Boat Anchors Away group. Glad to hear so many people on with so many good old pieces of equipment. This is Norman, K5SAC. I'm in Nederland, Texas, about 10 miles south of Beaumont, using my same old KWM2 I've had since 1968, driving the
30L1. And the homebrew antenna, 80 through 10, about 30 feet up on the flagpole. Okay, and the D104 mic that I've had since 1958. This is the oldest piece of gear in the shack, I guess. Hope everybody's recovering nice from the freeze that we've had. I think I lost about half the stuff in my yard, and got to wait till spring to see what needs to be replaced. They say it's too early to cut anything back now, so I'm just letting nature take over for a while. Nothing else you can do. Hope everyone's getting the new year started out right and hasn't written 2022 on any of their checks yet. I've been real careful about that. Back to you, Jay, and the net. K5SAC. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, Norman. Good deal. Yeah, no, we lost a few things, but the peach tree survived. It's leafing out and got blooms all over it right now, so I watered it down good, and we'll have some good old Sam Houston peaches here in a month or so. But unless it freezes again, I don't know. All right, thanks for checking in, Norman. We'll look for you next week. K0SED, the voice of East Texas. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, good evening, Jay, and all the boat anchors. Excuse me here. Now, you're about 95% there, so keep on recovering, Jay. As usual, I'm on the trusty old Kenwood PS520. Collins 30L on the dipole up 40-odd feet and right on through the tuner, and that's about it from here. Everybody sounds great tonight. K0SED.
Okay, Steve. Well, I'm just sitting. What in the world? Something's not working. Oh well, it's about 91 days if I counted right. So we'll see you then, right?
Oh, for sure.
Okie dokie. All right, Whiskey Bravo 5, Oscar Zulu. Don, come on in.
Hello, this is WB50ZZ, running 830, Kenwood 830, cigar box microphone with a 99 cent element in it. Just dug it out of the closet, I guess it still works. Amplifier, Kenwood 922. And the antenna, double bazooka, is 45 feet, over.
Roger. Sounding good. It works. I'm going to catch one more, and then I'm going to check and see if Rusty's here, and we'll go from there. Maybe he can get some Nebraska stations and catch a couple that I've heard out there that I didn't quite get. So, KC5WLF, Jimmy, your turn.
Okay, Jane. Well, thanks for taking my call. And have you got a good copy of me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hear you fine. Go ahead.
I'm on my FTDX10 with a Syntec amp. But anyway, I just wanted to say hello because I missed getting in. But I'll get my boat anchor back on eventually. Anyway, 7-3 to the net, KC5WL.
Okay, Jimmy, good deal. Yeah, well, I know the feeling. I'm cheating a little myself tonight, so whatever works. All right, Mr. Rusty, are you out there? WK5R, are you on board this evening? Well, he may not be. Are you ready, Lynn, or you want me to go on?
Well, however you feel about it, Jay, I'll go with the flow.
No, go ahead, and that way we can just double team it, and I can rest my voice for a second.
All right. Okay, this is K5LY Lynn and Austin returning on the Central Electronics 10A from the year 1951. And I'm listening on a Drake R4 receiver. So let's see who else might be out there talking to us tonight. K5LYN, listening?
WB1E.
Okay, I got TF, PF, and 1E. Let's see if we can get all this. Terry, talk to us, TF.
Okay, Leon, everybody sounding great over here tonight. I made one change. I got my SB301 receiver in line. Let the R4B rest a little bit. Same old Central Electronics 100B. Driving the SB220. Looking at the SB614. And then ogling the Drake W4B with Randy Kid in it. Oh, that's going up to my homemade double bazooka for 75 meters. This was burst in the Texas Panhandle in Hutchinson County back in 1998. Okay, Lynn, that's all. Well, I got a D104 mic. That's all I can lay on you tonight. I've had COVID back in December. It just hadn't been the end of the year was pretty rough on me and Mama, but anyway, we made it. Not complaining. K5LYN, W5 Tango Foxtrot, over.
Okay, nice signal into Austin. You and I are not quite on the same frequency, and I'm not going to say who's off, but we'll get Phil to straighten us out here. Nice strong signal coming in here. Hey, Phil, PF, am I in the right place, or was Terry there? Talk to us, K5LYN.
You're in the right place, Terry. I don't know if he's up or down. I get turned around on these things, but anyway, he was close enough I can hear him. No problem. Good evening, Terry. Hello, Lynn, and hello, Jay, and hopefully Rusty will show up. This is Phil, N5PM. I'm in Vicksburg, Mississippi, or just outside of Vicksburg. I'm on a college KWM2 with 312B5 and a round M slide 30L1 with a case dipole. I think it's 60 feet now. I moved it a little bit. I'm 50 feet high now, so that's about all I can do. This is N5PM. Back to you, Lynn.
All right, Phil, and for those of y'all that don't know, Phil is our newest Collins consultant. He's been through the S-lines and the M2s and knows a whole lot about it. So he's another guy we can put some questions to. And by the way, I didn't say when I was talking about this station, Phil, I'm listening to you and all the rest of the guys on a speaker that was in a drive-in theater probably in about 1952 in the Studebaker that I had of that same year. So I'm listening to everybody on this drive-in theater speaker here from the early 50s. Anything else from your end, Phil, over?
No, that's probably a better speaker than I've got. I put headphones on because I get a little distortion. This KWM2's got a, what do you call it, ALC problem. Not ALC, ALG, automatic gain control. AGC, yeah. I have to turn the AF gain down. I probably have a resistor or capacitor or maybe both out of spec, and it gets distorted. If I got my headphones on, I turn this stuff down real low because the headphones pick a lot of it up, and it works just fine. Sooner or later I'll get in there. I've been looking at the schematic, and I found where it's at. I got a spare rig here, and I was looking at it. It's kind of a nightmare going in there. There's probably 500 things in that one spot where I need to go and change the capacitors and resistors and add a couple of things to it. So I don't know if this old man's going to dive into that or not, but we'll get around to it. Back to you, N5PM.
Okay, Phil, I can tell you it's something you want to check first before anything else. Most of us think that the Collins engineers didn't put a big enough capacitor on the AVC time constant. And all of us have gone in there and put a bigger cap on there to make the AVC not so fast. And if you happen to have an original cap in there, it has already failed you. But for sure, that's the first thing I would check, and put something with more capacitance so your time constant will be a lot better and your AVC will be a lot smoother. Over.
That sounds good. I've got a write-up off the Collins net about it, and they're changing a lot of stuff. And that one capacitor would be good. This is a 63 model, and I understand they make corrections in 68 or 69. And so this is pre-college corrections, and I'm sure it needs help.
W5FU.
If you know where that capacitor goes, I'd like to find out.
Okay, yeah, check that time constant capacitor on there, because I think you'll want to slow it down. Okay, I got WB1E, and then I think I heard SU. I'm not sure if I heard enough prefix to know who that was. Doug, WB1E, talk to us, K5LYN.
Okay, hey, Lynn, this is WB1E. The gentleman, the W5SU, I'm going to let him go. He may have a comment regarding the issue that Phil has. So W5SU, go ahead and then send it back to Lynn.
Yeah, appreciate it, Doug. No, it's Carl, W5 Sugar Uniform. I was just trying to sneak in between transmissions out of turn. Lynn, go ahead.
Okay. Well, Doug, go ahead and finish up on your, and then we'll pick him up.
Okay, very good. Hey, Lynn, and good evening, everybody. This is Doug. I'm on the plastic radio tonight. I just got home, and I originally had everything warmed up and planned, but at the last second I had to go out. So anyway, I hope it sounds up to the Swan 500 that I usually run. It's specifications. I'll just leave it at that. Still running the Mark 1, the 2 4400s. And Lynn, I got to tell you, that transformer weighs like 70 pounds out of the Bandit. That thing is huge. So what I'm going to try, I tried driving it a little bit, because right now I'm driving it in triode mode with 100 watts, so linear talk. I tried driving it with about 140 to 160, and just briefly, and I saw absolutely no gain whatsoever. So it sounds like I need a little bit more B+. So I'm going to jump off and try the tripler. I've made a one on the breadboard that I'm comfortable with, so I'll try and maybe switch between the tripler and the doubler circuit, and hopefully I'll be able to use the same capacitor banks. And Lynn, I may end up handing you a Swan 500 come next Belton time, which is just 91 days or something, Jay said. Anyway, I'll turn it back to you, Lynn. Thanks for picking me up. And Rusty, Jay, and Lynn, and anybody else supporting the Boat Anchors Net, thank you so much. Back to Net.
Well, okay, Doug. Swans are the kind of radios that always make us happy, right? So we can always use more of those. Good to hear you. Great signal. Okay, XU, SU, straighten me out. It's one of two people. Who is that? K5LYN.
Yeah, Whiskey 5, stomach ulcer, W5SU.
And remind me?
Carl, Coco Alpha Radio Lima in Dallas. Lynn, go ahead.
Carl, you sent me this frequency counter I'm using right now, didn't you?
Yeah. How's it? It still works?
Yeah. I have to twist in a little carrier, to get it to read, but that's one knob on the front of the Central Electronics 10A, and it works great.
Yeah, that's right. I tried that lower sideband filter for the Drake, but it was just kind of a dead radio. It was too little to rejuvenate it. But I'm on the TR4C tonight. About 500 watts coming out of a 31000 into a inverted L. Lynn, go ahead.
Now, was that a TR3 or a TR4 you were trying to get that filter to work on?
It was a TR4.
Okay, well, those filters are a pain in the butt. See, I've got a TR3 that the filter has failed on, and it's just overwhelming how difficult it is to find anything to replace that. So I sympathize with your issues.
Yeah, INRAD would have been my saving grace, but they either went out of business or stopped making products or something like that. So I learned a lot. I didn't know that among the TR4s, not even the TR4C, but the just plain old TR4, there were a couple of versions. One version had the two filters in the same can, and my version had one can for the upper and another can for the lower sideband filter. And it was the can with the lower one, like you sent me, that I tried, but it just wouldn't work out. So I passed it along to Rick, K5RAA, as a punch rig. So that's the rundown. You sound good. Band's in good shape. Everybody sounds good. We'll say hello to Doug again as well. So I'm not sure who else is here, but let me not hog the frequency. W5LYN, W5SU.
Okay, Carl, been way too long since we've heard you. Great to hear you tonight. You're sounding great. And yeah, that's the only problem. Crystal filters, crystals drift, and even crystal filters can let you down. My TR3, I have a beautiful TR3 there that I think is hopeless junk. you know, because I can't figure out any way to solve that problem. And I certainly understand that the varieties of filters that Drake used there. It's real stumbling blocks. All right, Carl, make it more often, okay? DYA, just a minute, Cliff. But Carl, last comments?
No, I appreciate everything. I know you guys have a crowded net tonight, so I'll back off, but always a pleasure. We'll try to make it a little more regularly. Appreciate the offer. W5SU.
Okay, yeah, great to hear you. Hi, Cliff, DYA. Thanks for being patient. We got a big group tonight. Over to you.
You were talking about filters drifting. So what you do, you change the carrier frequency. So you move it over, you readjust the location of the carrier on the slope of the filter. And all my good Yaesus, 101s, FT 901s, and all, so there is an adjustment on the carrier frequency for both the upper and lower sideband. And then the alignment instructions shows you how to place the carrier at the proper the proper frequency on the slope of the filter based upon its passband.
Yeah, I did that. It had drifted even further than that, Cliff. It got so far that it wouldn't work. I think I put a capacitor in series with the crystal or something like that, trying to get it to go a little bit further. It wouldn't go far enough. But I understand what you're saying is exactly right, unless it's that far off.
Well, in the original circuit, was there a capacitor?
Yeah, there was, and I adjusted it all the way.
Well, put a little bit more.
No, it's all the way. It won't go any further.
Put another capacitor in parallel with it.
I did all those things, and no luck.
Okay.
But what you're saying is exactly right in theory, but we forget how far these crystals can drift over 60 years, you know?
Well, all right.
Hey, tell us how you're getting along. Great to hear you.
Talk to you later, WB5DY.
All right, nice signal, Cliff. Make it more often. Always enjoy talking to you. All right, who else for the net? K5LYN, listening?
KG5IEE.
Okay, did I hear SNF in there?
Yeah, you bet, man. WB0SN is doing the great again tonight.
Hey, Andy, I know you're there. I got about 75% copy. Make us a short one, okay?
Okay, will do. I have a TR3 that has a Galaxy crystal filter and the Galaxy carrier crystals, and it works fine.
Okay, let's talk about it Sunday, because I'm not going to be able to get it tonight, okay?
Okay, QSL then, WB0SN.
Okay, by the way, you're hearing my 10A tonight, and we'll talk about it Sunday. I'd talk to you some more, but it's pretty shaky right now. Okay, there was one other person in there. Who was that?
KG5IEE.
IZZ, IDD, something like that?
KG5, India Echo.
India Echo, talk to us.
Hey, good evening, Lynn, and everybody else on the net. This is Randall and Marshall. And before going, how is audio on this rig, please?
You're sounding good, but not strong here.
All right, thanks very much. Yeah, I'm using a Kenwood TS511 with an MC50 microphone. It's picking up probably about 150 watts into an in-fed half-wave out there. And I think still need a little bit of tweaking on it. Just picked it up a few weeks ago, but overall, really enjoying it. It's a great CW rig as well. But man, I'll turn it back to you. Thanks for running the net, and good to hear everybody on the air tonight. KG5IEE, back to net.
Okay, glad you came by. Okay, let's see who else might want to talk here. WK5R, Rusty, are you here? Well, Rusty must have got tied up tonight. KM5QS, you want to take a shot at it?
All right. Yeah, well, I've been sluicing down my cedar pollen with a little iced tea, so we'll see what we can do. All right, folks, this is KM5QS. Is there anyone we haven't visited with yet for the Boat Anchors Unlimited? Come now.
Whiskey Alpha 5, Edward David X-Ray.
Okay, I've got EDX WJA, and who was the last one?
And 0 Golf Victor Kilo.
Okay, it's Kurt, I believe. Yeah, Golf Victor Kilo. All right, let me start with these. EDX, Byron, go ahead.
Yeah, Jay, this is WA5EDX in Bluffdale, Texas. Tonight we're on a Kenwood 530 I'm checking out. Barefoot, running it barefoot, MC50 mic, and the standard inverted V up about 35 feet. Good to hear everybody on. Good to hear your voice back, Jay. You're sounding good tonight. You're one of the stronger net controls, so I hope you're copying me okay. I did want to share with the net that I discovered yesterday. I was shocked to find out there was another Kenwood hybrid around that I wasn't familiar with, and it is I happened to see it on eBay. I saw it on eBay. It's a Trio TS820X. So I guess that is identical to the Kenwood TS820S, but apparently Trio was a Japan brand. Trio just kept the brand in Japan, and I guess that rig was probably sold in Japan or overseas somewhere, but can't find any other history on it yet, but I would just suspect it's the same thing as a Kenwood TS820S. So if anybody happened to know any more details on that, or ever had one, or ever seen one in person, I would be interested. But that was kind of a shock to me to see the picture of the front panel, and there's an 820 with a Trio brand name on it. So interesting tidbit that you can use down the road somewhere. Okay, back to you, Jay. WA5EDX.
Okay, Byron. Yeah, now I was aware that there was an 830M that actually had AM in it, I believe, but that was a Japan only model, and that Trio may have been the same, along the same lines. I don't know. I haven't heard of the 820X. Huh. I have to see what I can find on that. That's interesting. But they did make some stuff we never got to see.
TYA.
Go ahead.
You'll find on Kenwood, and I think Yaesu, but specifically Kenwood, they would sell a model with one final, low power, and that was for a class of license over there, which is very common. So you'll find a lot of Kenwoods that are the same radio, just one final and low power.
Yeah, okay, we'll have to look that up. Maybe I can find a manual. That sounds very logical. It's probably an 820S with one final.
That makes sense. Because they did have a different classification, different license classification over there, I believe, so something like that. So that's probably what the deal is. All right, good deal. Thank you, Cliff. Appreciate it. All right, N5WJA, Jim, go ahead, sir.
N5WJA, hello, Jay. Everybody else. Not only 820 tonight, I'm on my 890, so bear with me. Everybody sounding pretty good over here tonight. Band's in pretty good shape. So that's all I got. I wanted to key up saying good evening, and let you get me to the numbers, Jay. N5WJA.
Okay, Jim. And by the way, I did visit with the other Jim yesterday. I texted him, and he's been afflicted with the same thing that I have, the cedar fever. And so he's fine. He's just been fighting cedar fever. So everything's okay in Uvalde.
Good. Thank you.
All right. So thanks for checking in. Okay, Kurt up there in Omaha, is it? N0GBK. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Jay and the Net. This is N0GVK. I'm in South Central Nebraska, Jay, about on the Kansas border. And everybody's sounding good tonight. And I have a new one here for the Net. I'm talking on a World Radio Labs Galaxy 3. And this is a tri-band rig made in 1964. And so that's what I'm on. It just runs 80, 40, and 20. So that's the rig I'm on with a 444D. And I'm driving a Galaxy 2000B amplifier, which is 10 6LB6s. So I'm getting about 600 watts right into my all-star fed antenna for about 30 feet. And I just got it on the low tap. It'll do a kilowatt, but I just figured them 50, 60-year-old tubes could use a break. So I'm just running it on the low tap, the low power side. And they're a little expensive to replace as well. And it has the original match set of finals in these tubes. So these are the same sweet tips that this thing came with from the factory. And I do have the matching VFO speaker console with that as well. Hopefully you're copying me okay, Jay. And thanks for letting me jump in. This is N0GVK. Back to that.
Okay, Kurt. Yeah, I'm copying you fine. 15 over down here. It's the band's in good shape for you. That Galaxy 3 is, and that 2000 that amplifier is doing great. Who said sweep tubes are dead? That one's working really good. Thanks for checking in, Kurt. Well, I know Rusty usually picks y'all up from up there, but you're making it down all the way down here to almost to the Gulf of Mexico.
Quick question, Jay.
Go ahead.
Hey, N0GVK. Kurt, you copy K5LYN. I got a quick question for you.
Oh, yeah, Lynn. You're 10 over 9.
Okay, is your email good on QRZ.com? I got a question for you.
Yep, it sure is.
Okay, I'll be in touch. Thank you. Back to you, Jay.
All right, good deal. Okay, is there, let me see here. Oops, I don't got nobody else on the list. Anyone else for the Net?
WP0, Sierra November Fox.
K5OAQ.
OAQ, I copied you. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, there was somebody else there. I didn't get a call ahead of me. Well, I'm talking to everybody on my same old 27-year-old modern solid-state radio and my attic antenna, but I have been listening to the Net on my 1939 RAL-8 Regenerative receiver. Everybody's got a great signal. Have a good evening. This is K5OAQ.
Okay, Bob. Good deal. Well, I guess that counts. That's fine. Anyway, I could not hear that other station. Now, let me try it again. That other station tried to check in. Let me try real hard.
WB0, Sierra November Fox.
I could hear a voice, but that's it. Can anyone relay?
Sierra India Fox.
Sierra India what?
Foxtrot.
Okay, Sierra India Foxtrot. Go ahead and talk to us and tell us what you got and one thing and another, and somebody will hear you.
Okay, this is Whiskey 0, Sierra November Fox. Also in Nebraska, 100 miles west of Omaha. Terra Rick, Terra Base 13, loop antenna. Go ahead.
It's a Sierra November Fox, Jay.
Sierra November Fox, okay.
He's in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just having my static crashes are just too much.
He's in Oklahoma.
Nebraska.
He's in Nebraska.
Nebraska, okay. Well, don't give up on us. Next week we should have our Nebraska contactor on duty, hopefully. If Rusty's in here, he can usually hear y'all up there pretty good.
Got a 0 call.
I think it's WB0SNF.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll talk to him on Sunday on 20.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, all righty. I've got his call down correct now, so I have it. Well, thanks for checking in, WB0SNF. I wished I could have heard you better, but maybe next week. That's KM5QS with the Boat Anchors Unlimited, and what do we got here? Let me take a couple more, and then I'll give it back to Lynn, and we'll go from there.
Whiskey Sugar 5 Bravo.
Whiskey Sugar 5 Bravo, is that it?
Yeah, Jay, you got it. It's WS5B Chris out here in Salt Flat in West Texas. And now I got on a young radio here, old Kenwood TS530S we're using right now, and feeding that into an SB221, so just checking in, saying hello. Everyone's sounding good tonight.
All right, yeah, your 530 is working great. That's we don't hear enough of those on the air. They're every bit as good as the 830, I think, but maybe just 830's got a couple more knobs on it, maybe. But anyway, no, you're sounding great.
Yeah, this is the 830.
Oh, 8:30. I'm sorry. I thought you said 5:30.
5:30 is probably about the time I was dead tired, so I might have said that too.
Okay. Well, that's a good deal.
Okay, well, y'all go ahead and carry on and get hearing everybody. So we'll be out here listening. WS5B, whiskey shots are $5 out here in Salt Flat, Texas.
All right. Lots of backstrap going on there. Yeah. All right. Anyone else for the net this evening coming out? I've got somebody throwing a carrier on me.
It was something RU.
I think I can get him.
Go ahead.
N0ORU. Give us a try. K5 Lima, Yankee, November.
Thank you. This is November 0, Oscar Romeo on the uniform. Steve in Anita, Iowa. QSL running a Atlas 210 with the console and
Okay, on the old Atlas, N0ORU, give us the name and the QTH. We didn't get that, over.
Okay, name is Steve, Sierra Tango, Echo, Victor, Echo, and the QTH is a little town called Anita, Alpha, November, India Tango, Alpha, in Iowa. QSL?
Okay, Steve in Anita, Iowa. Did I get that right? Okay, on the old Atlas. Well, I'm glad you came by. This is the first time we've talked to you, I think, over.
Yes, it is. Heard about it a couple times. Didn't know whether I could make it in or not. But I thought I'd try. Just get a foot, no amplifier. So if I can get there, it's doing well. N0ORU.
Yeah, pretty nice. There's QSB. When you're up, I hear you. When you're down, I don't. But I'm glad you came by. We're here every Wednesday evening talking vintage radio. And right now you're hearing a Central Electronics 10A from the year 1951, the first commercial exciter in the world. Glad you came by, Steve. We'll be here again next week. Who else for the net this evening? K5LYN listening.
Hey, recheck.
Recheck, go ahead.
Yeah, this Kath, AG5XP. Just wanted to let you know, I think he'd been on here before, W5, TOJ, Terry, and Bangs. He passed away on Sunday with unknown causes that I know of.
Well, yeah, we've known him for years. About how old a fellow was he, Kenneth? Do you know?
I think it was 74, if I remember correctly, on the obituary there on the Brownwood Bulletin online is where I found it.
Well, that's scary. I'm 75, you know, but time is flying when we're having fun here. Thank you for telling us that. Do we know anything about family or anything, Kenneth?
Negative. I don't know anything about it other than that. And I had a question for you there, Lynn. Are they going to have the Pflugerville Hamfest, or do you know?
I have not heard a thing about it. Now, there's talk of a tailgate event in Maynard, Texas, which is just, east of Austin. You want me to try to keep you posted on how that comes up?
Yeah, right to that. Yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be the first one, so we're kind of in unknown territory here. But it's probably as good as the Pflugerville deal.
Right to that. Well, let's all get back to business there. G5XP, back to control.
Okay, all right. Jay, am I supposed to keep talking, or am I supposed to give it back to you? How's it work?
No, you can go ahead, but tell me who it was that passed.
A W5TLJ, Terry, I think his name was.
Oh, man, it was. He was a check-in here. Dang it. Okay.
Yeah, we've known him not well, but for a long time. He was around. Well, time flies when we're having fun. All right, who else for the net? K5LYN listening. We've been going over an hour, and we never did hear Rusty. I hope everything's good on Rusty's end. Anybody need to talk to me about anything before we wind it down tonight?
GDK recheck.
Recheck, go ahead.
Hey, Len, could you give me an audio report on this microphone? I might have hit it up a little bit too high. How's the audio on this Galaxy?
It's fine with me. Not a strong signal, so I can't be real critical, but I see nothing wrong with it.
Okay, I might have had it turned up a little too high earlier, so just wanted to make sure I wasn't overdriving. Thanks, Len, and 0GDK.
Yeah, it's doing fine. Okay, Jay, want to wrap this thing up? We've been talking well over an hour here. Great net tonight. Beautiful conditions. K5LYN.
Yes, sir. This front coming through might have had something to do with it. I do not know. However, it is time for us to probably close the door because the AM group out there in California or Tucson or wherever the heck they're at starting to fire things up and makes it a little difficult on this end, but we'll give her a shot. Anyone else out there for the net before we close the door?
AF5BI.
AF5BI. Go ahead, James.
Just jumping in here for the count, listening to all the people from Nebraska coming in. I guess that's all I got, Jay. I just wanted to check in for the count.
All righty. Well, that'll work, James. Well, thank you, sir, for checking in. All right, everybody that participated this evening, we appreciate it. We know what it takes to keep stuff on the air, and it's always good to hear the old rigs, and we'll do this again next Wednesday. We'll find out what Rusty's playing hooky on us or something. He might have... Oh, there's no telling. Hope everything's okay. So, everybody, thank you very much, and we'll look for you next week. It's KM5QS, and with best wishes all around, we're now returning this frequency to whatever passes for normality.
Hey, Leah, this is S5PF. Hey, Leah, this is S5PF. Can you hear me?
Lynn, can you hear Phil?
I guess he can't, Jay. I was just going to tell him, I was on here last night at 9 o'clock talking to Wisconsin. He was 30 over. This band is open all the way to Canada and the East Coast. And we have heard people in California come in on occasion, but I guess it opens up a little later. Those people up north come in real good. They were all 30, 40 over on me last night.
Oh yeah. It's amazing. I mean, I've got a pretty decent antenna up, but it only goes. I can't move it around. So whichever the strong direction it comes from, is better for me. But it's a 160 meter dipole, and I can't spin it around on a boom. So, but it's amazing what we can hear sometimes.
Hey, the guy at England I was talking to a couple of weeks ago, he's got a 6 element on 75 meters on top of a line truck, a bucket truck,
And he rotates it by driving the truck in a circle. And he was making the United States no problem. He was pretty weak. And I didn't get everything he said, but some of the other guys did. That one up in North Carolina in the mountains, he was copying him real good. He had about 30 over on him. But they're limited to 400 watts in England, and that 6-element 75-meter beam was doing a job.
I can't imagine how it must be loaded, because man, that's a heck of a beam.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's using a tower laid bolted to that bucket truck, and he's got those elements out on the tower. He's got to have something above that to hold the elements up, because they're going to droop. I can imagine what he's got, but it's incredible. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway, enough for me. I'm going to get out of here. 73s and good net tonight. See y'all later. Then 5 p.m.
Okay, Phil. Yeah, I have seen some constructs that were made by, and it's driving it around to change directions. He must have one heck of a piece of real estate. I didn't know they had that much land in England. Anyway. All right. Good deal, Phil. We'll look for you next week.
Yeah, he was near London, but who knows? He might be one of the royal families. They got the land. 73, then 5 p.m.
Roger. KM5QS.
Hey, let me see if Cliff is still here by any chance. And hi, Phil. I did hear you there. I was down the hall. WB5DY. Cliff, you still there by any chance? No, he must have called today. All right, 73th, everybody. Great net. K5LYN.
Glenn, I wanted to talk to him too. WB5DYA. This is AA5R.
Well, I guess we lost him, huh?
Yeah.
There he is.
Cliff, are you there?
Somebody called me as Phil.
Oh, no. Hi, Phil. We were looking for... Yeah, I did hear you a while ago, Phil. No, we were looking for WB5DY, but I guess we lost him.
Okay, 73.
73, Phil. Glenn, what did I miss tonight by being late?
Well, you missed a wealth of intelligent and comprehensive assessments of the early days of single sideband.
Oh, I guess that was on another frequency, but what happened on this frequency?
How do you like my signals tonight?
Oh, it sounds great here on this Tentec Omni, but I'm not looking at it on the screen, so I don't have anything to complain about tonight.
Okay, well, I didn't want to be left out. No, this is the 10A from 1951. It's the most ancient of the rigs I've got over here.
Oh, okay. Well, as far as I can tell, it sounds great. Now the history of sideband and all that, is coming up as part of the Hamfest up there in St. Louis the end of this month.
Well, I know. And, you and I have been to those together, and I've been to most of Nick Toose's meetings, but this one I can't do because I've got a construction project. I was hoping I'd find somebody, D-Roy, to take something to Nick that I can't take to him on this trip. I don't know if you're up for that or not.
Well, I'm thinking about it. I haven't made a decision yet about whether I'm going or not, but I'll let you know if I do. I've got to, make a decision this weekend.
Well, why don't you come over and see my radios, and then we can go from there.
Well, okay.
Just send me an email, and we'll get. I've been needing to show you these radios anyway.
7WRX. Yeah. Okay, I'll try to do that. Sometime tomorrow. Is that going to work?
I'm doing a construction project in the backyard, and that's why I can't go to the Hamfest in St. Louis. It's kind of when my helpers are willing to come help me, and I never know when that is. But yeah, send me an email. Probably tomorrow will work.
Okay.
Broadcast transmitter here.
K5LYN at ARRL.net.
And mine, you know, is the same thing. You know, just change the call sign to mine.
Yeah, you've been needing to see these radios I'm talking to you on anyway, so come on over.
Okay.
All right, see you then. I'm going to call it a day. K5LYN, great net all the way around.
Okay, 73 K5LYN, this is AA5R. Bye-bye.
Where does Dan go?
Just sitting there working on stuff.